Right, guys, welcome back. Now I've got Liam Phillip. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks.
So I just seen you've just announced that you're going to have a Scottish Welterweight Title match.
That's right, I'm stepping up for Super Lightweight to Welterweight to take the opportunity to fight for the Scottish title against the boy Alfie Poole. So, another unbeaten prospect, so I'm looking forward to it.
Do you know much about him?
I've seen bits and bobs of him, I've watched him box, but not a great deal, to be honest, But I've seen enough of him, I'm confident of it's one that I can win, so aye.
How difficult has it been for you to get like fights and get? Because I know I had Nathan Tarr in there. I was talking about he's super heavyweight and it's difficult for him to find opponents. But I know about the pro games like this with my mates, what boxers, and I know when it's that populated, they know that it's like it's difficult to make a name for yourself as well as support yourself. It's your career and all that. So what's it been like for you?
Well, this is it. Obviously, I turned professional during lockdown. And I was just training because there was nothing else happening, at the time. And I sparring with pros and everything else, and Paul, my trainer, said to me, should maybe have a go at it. Spoke to Sam, and here we are. So I kind of felt as if I was a bit like, wee bit intruder syndrome, you know what I mean? Because I did box a lot, box since I'm 37 this year. I boxed since I was 13-year-old, do you know what I mean? On and off a lot over the years, and so I felt like kind of that ship had sailed. So definitely felt a bit of intruder syndrome, you know what I mean, coming into the sport. But obviously, as things have went on, my confidence is growing. I feel like I belong here, and I've got, I've been racking up the wins, and we're pushing forward, and I've not got time. Other boys do, you know what I mean, take their time. As I said, I'm 37 this summer, so I'm in a hurry. I want to get places, So I'm delighted to hear that I'm fighting for a title this year. There was talk that maybe something would be happening towards the end of the year, so I had my set on that. So to get the phone call at the weekend was great news, and we're going for it, all guns blazing.
It's good, man. We were supposed to speak last week, and then I just had like all hands up there. But I'm glad it's it's like God's work, isn't it?
Talk about it,
because like I think I was at your debut.
Yep.
And you tapped the bill there, innit?
I was, yeah.
And you tapped the bill. I think that they walked out because whoever sold the most tickets.
That's right. Aye.
Right. So you have a lot of support, and that's what can kind of propel you into getting these opportunities. Because at the end of the day, it's a business.
Absolutely. Aye, absolutely. You know what I mean? I did have a good few bodies there, and I'd always do all my fights. I've got a good support, and I realise that. I realise that that's part of the game, and that's what can propel you into, into the driving seat for things like title fights, so it's a big part to play in it, so I've got a good fan base, and now that the title fight's been announced, I've already had a lot more interest and more tickets flying out the door, so I'm expecting a full house, in 4 weeks' time or whatever.
So your boxing, was Nathan Tarr just left? You were kind of talking about where it started for you, but when did it start?
So I started when I was about 13 years old. I think I was getting bullied at school. I always wanted to box. You know what I mean? I was in a punch bag in the house, we one hanging up for the door or whatever.
Yeah.
And my ma always seen it as a kind of a bit of violent sport, as a lot of mothers probably do. She's probably no far wrong, but I was getting bullied at school. Basically, long story short, somebody suggested a couple of other options there, and one of them was boxing. And she let me go, and that was it. But I was travelling at that time from Bearsden. We just moved up there, and I was getting a bus, a train, a bus, over to the Palace Arts in Bellhouston Park, 3 times a week to train with Chris McAdam in Noble Art, and I'd done that for years, I in a couple of years I was winning schoolboy titles, national titles, box for Scotland, I had a good wee run at it for a good few years until I had the sort of dangerous teenage years, where
we were speaking about that, that's
no,
where we seen each other. Like I'd always known your face, but I wasn't always too sure how.
No, that's it. You're kind of, as time goes on, that's the thing with social media as well. You know what I mean? Because you see people's faces popping up. Do I actually know that person, or is that just through social media? I've been saying to a lot of folk, you know what I mean? When I walk by them, because they're like, they'll pop up on social media. I'm like, I don't fucking know that cunt.
That's like, see the guy does IFL TV.
Aye.
We went seconds out, asked us to go out and interview Josh Taylor and Ben Davison. They couldn't make it, and they were like, we'll pay you, or quick to go up to. So when we went, and as we walked in, that Coogan was walking out, and my mate was like, "Oh, you're right, mate," and he said hello like he knew us, right? But he probably thought, I don't fucking know these guys. But just because I didn't even know how I knew him. I didn't even. My brain just went dead, and I was just I'm saying hello because I just think that I know him. But we'd never. That was the first time we'd ever met. So it can be like that. It's funny how your brain works and tries to put you. I mean, you see people outside. As I said, like, but back when I worked at McDonald's and I used to meet managers or something in a uniform, and then I'd meet them out and no put two and two together and work out how I knew them. But we've worked out like way back in the dark days.
Must be, you know what I mean, cracking on nearly 20 years ago, you know what I mean? So, like, and obviously I've been out Sharfie back clubbing, you know, back in the days of going to Destiny nightclub and places like that, you know. So.
It's because I still see some people and I still keep in contact with some people that I know back then. In fact, last night I was walking through town and there was a guy, he was in his van shouting at me, he's like, "Oh, Jamie, you're right." I don't even know his name, but I remember his sister worked in Destiny Ways, and she snuck him in one day. And we were like, "Alright, that's fine, just if you want to." I think he was maybe 16, 17 and we were just like, just serve him. And he was pure best behaviour, and he used to start coming in with his mates all the time. And then I see him there, and that's probably I've not seen him in 20 years.
But you know, that's
and
what you know.
Mental. And it's but so there is good sides to getting out and socialising. Obviously has its limits. So you went through a stage where maybe you stopped boxing.
I was still boxing because I remember, you know, fighting, having an amateur fight, and then going to Destiny after it. Not been rushing to get there, you know, like so. I was still boxing at the time, but you know where all that carry on. Not I mean, it's you need to be dedicated. Even as an amateur, you need to be dedicated. So it started to fall by the wayside. And I got back into it probably in my early 20s. I entered the Scottish, got the finals of that. I pulled it unwell. Then that's when we made the decision I was going to turn pro then. I think I was 22 at the time, and I broke my wrist, which is probably a bit of a blessing in disguise, to be honest, because the lead was still up my arse in the terms of that I was still carrying on at the weekend, still playing too much and everything else. If I turned pro then and then, I would have probably made an arse of it, you know what I mean? So it's actually probably a blessing in disguise that I did wait till, you know, I was a bit older and my head screwed on.
Yeah.
After that, you know, I think I went to Australia when I was about 25. I boxed over there. That was.
What made you go there?
Travelling, you know. I mean, it just something an idea we all go. We were like, let's go away, go travelling. Went to Thailand and then went to Australia. I was in Australia for about 5 or 6 years on and off.
Mental, man.
So there's a place there called Palm Island. It's an Aboriginal island. Used to be a penal colony, right? And it was like. Everybody in Australia talks badly of it and they don't want to go there. And like, because he was in the Guinness World Book of Records as like in the top 10 most dangerous places outside a war zone, right, years ago. So that's what kind of made that I had a bit of stigma and it was a bit kind of famous for that. So I got offered to go and I'm thinking, the money was good and I'm like, I want to see this place. So
did you go there to work?
I went there to work, I'm a joiner, so I went there to work to, you know, renovate the houses, you know what I mean, for the locals over there. So it was a great experience, but you're over there, you're in a secure compound, you're not allowed out. It's dangerous at night. Not really with adults, but the kids, they don't go to school and at night time they sleep all day and they've got nothing to do other than fucking wreck a camp, look for trouble, the way kids do. So I was over there and there's not very much on the island. A church, you know what I mean, a supermarket, butcher's, blah blah blah, and it was a boxing gym. So I went to the boxing gym there and, you know, the bit of kind of standoffish kind of start with because they've not really got a good relationship, the Aboriginals and the Australians, you know what I mean, because of the kind of what's happened over the last couple of years there, you know what I mean. So and then I kind of jailed them. I fitted right in on the island. Like,
did you just turn up at the gym?
I just turned up.
So how did that go about? Like you went in and you just went, I want to box?
I was there and I just turned up, you know, and there's an old guy, Ray Dennis, he was a coach, an Australian coach, and I got chatting to him, I went in, the boys in there and would even speak to me to start with, you know, because I've got that, unfortunately there's that kind of barrier, you know, there's a lot of racial tension on the island, a lot, but that didn't take long for it to kind of break down. When they realised I was Scottish and I wasn't Australian, you know, and I could box, you know, and it was a brilliant experience. And I was I was kind of accepted by a lot of elders in the island and stuff like that. They stopped and say hello to me in the street. I boxed for the island several times, went to championships with them, you know.
Jesus,
so boxing the Golden Gloves and that earlier for Palm Island. I think I was one of the first white people to do that. So
that's mental, man. I did. like a lot of people won't even know this.
No, no, I know, aye. So it's a very humbling experience. It was brilliant. You know what I mean?
Uh,
I was going to barbecues like invited by the elders and whatever. And obviously the company I was working for, they were loving it because they're saying this is connecting.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
tying sort of loose ends together, and it's good for the community and good for everybody kind of thing. So that was a brilliant experience for me. It was absolutely fantastic. Beautiful island, a place like paradise, but
yeah.
a bit crazy, because it's a wee bit, there's just no much kind of structure to the place,
But sometimes when you have that and there isn't like these pillars or proper systems in place, like you can go and just people just get on with people.
aye,
Like the youth work I did in Kingsway, it was like there was nothing going on, and I'm seeing wee guys like literally sitting in benches next to guys smoking crack. You've got
aye,
like a 9-year-old wee Syrian kid
yep,
sitting next to a guy in his 30s that is, and you're like, but the two of them would go with each other. And
yep,
like that area in particular has just changed over the years. It used to when I was younger. We used to fight with Yoka or Guckton and all the areas
yeah,
surrounding.
yeah,
Now it's like there's no gang fights, but you've got all these people that are just all lumped into one place, and
aye,
you'll find that people will find a way to go with each other.
that's it,
Sometimes it's football that we use. Sometimes it can be music. So for you, it was boxing. That
that's it, aye, absolutely, you know what I mean? It's that was really a standout experience for me. When I look
uh,
back at it, you know what I mean? It really was. I was really lucky. I realised at the time I did. I thought this
I'm
is,
actually happy you told this story. I think that's like 'cause it's something I didn't know. I'm
yeah,
like it's something that. Well, I went to Iraq right in 2012
yep,
when just told my mates to take us there and
yep,
end up staying there for 6 months.
right, right,
And it was just a wee village. Everybody knew we were all there. Sometimes I don't really get a fear of stuff, but there was one night I thought a bomb went off,
right,
and it turned out it was just we ended up sending my mate's uncle to go investigate, and he came back and he was like, "Oh, go back to sleep." And I was like, What happened?" And he's like, "Oh, just lightning hit a motor."
aye,
But I remember that village people would come up to you and try and practice their English and all on you
aye.
and shit. So that story you told, man, like,
But that's it. You know yourself. You know what I mean. There's something comfortable about feeling kind of slightly uncomfortable. You know what I mean. When
you
you're
like
not
pushing the
full
comfort zone.
danger. You know what I mean. Like there is something quite comforting about it. You know what I mean. That's kind of when I went away travelling. That's what I kind of envisioned in a way. You know what I mean. Like it was that's where I didn't want to hang about the cities and all the rest. I wanted to go into the bush. I wanted to, live like locals did, kind of, and
Yeah,
experience things like that a wee bit. You know what I mean. So I was really really lucky that, especially because it's no common, you know what I mean, for like, outsiders to kind of be accepted into a community, and I was, you know what I mean, earlier.
yeah.
So I mean, I look back and there's photos says we're going away down to Brisbane to box and the Golden Gloves, and I stick it like a sore thumb against the natives, and none of them have got shoes on, and there's photos of me standing in amongst all the boys, and they're good boys, they're all
Uh,
tough boys, like they come for nothing, you know what I mean, absolutely nothing, they've got nothing, you know what I mean, so it's a very humbling experience, totally different to like anything we've got here, you know what I mean. So it was a standout experience for me.
but boxing has that ability to do that. Like, you can strip everything back,
Yeah,
right? And I think this is sometimes when you look at, I'd obviously interview a lot of young boxers, and you see a maturity that's in them that you don't find
yeah,
other young people.
yeah,
And I think it's because when you're in that ring and you're learning, you've got these role models, the guidance for the coaches, whatever, older people around you, and you have to try and be like sensible and serious sometimes.
yeah.
But if you strip everything back and you're just in the ring, it's just one on one.
That's it.
And you can't really there's no that's like level one in life, but it can open up so many opportunities because once you see somebody like that, there's I think there's a film what's that, The Matrix is,
Yeah,
and he fights him. And he's like, "Oh, what did you fight me for?" And he's like, "Oh, you don't truly know somebody until you fight them." But that's kind of like the same thing until you're
yeah,
in a ring with somebody. And I think a lot of the other bullshit that comes in life,
aye,
it's like young boxers will avoid fights. Like, you probably know
absolutely.
yourself. Like, you said you got into boxing because there was issues that you had was at school,
Aye, absolutely, aye.
and it probably rather than people fight, oh, you're going to learn how to fight, but what you're probably learning is how to be disciplined and how to just have that courage and
100%.
avoid fights if it came about.
100%, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that I didn't get into scraps like everybody else, but I wasn't quick to raise my hands, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where other people around about me were. I knew that I was, if I had to hit somebody,
you
I
taught
could hit them, you
them.
know what I mean? And I always found that I was the person that kind of was at the front line, that kind of tried to stop things, you know what I mean?
Aye,
Because, and That's it's once that's out your system. I think that's why I think it's so important for young kids. You know what I mean? Is because they all feel they've got something to prove, but they've got something to prove against their pals in school and that. But when you start boxing, you're getting praise off of, people that are older than you, people your dad's age, and people coming up to you don't know, and they're patting you in the back saying, well done, you boxed really well there.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for, is you're looking for that kind of affirmation as a kid, you know what I mean? You're doing kind of right in life. The same way with teachers, you get arsehole teachers, and then there's one or two that really stood out to give you the time of day,
Yeah.
and you get so much merit it, you know what I mean? You get so much, you wanted to do good for them, you know what I mean? And it brought you on as a person. I mean, I still talk to my chemistry teacher from back in school, and he was
I've got
brilliant.
teachers on my Facebook, man. I still like
And
chat with.
to this day, I'll still cite he was such a a big part of me growing up, and,
Yeah.
and him giving me that wee push in life, and just make me feel like a fucking human being rather than a wee boy, and I had to prove something to somebody. Like it just done so much for me. And likewise with boxing, when you forget that when you realise that there's getting praised for good things rather than stupid things in the street, you know what I mean, and that's what you start to kind of thrive off of. You mature really quickly, you know what I mean, and you're not after the same kind of, I don't know, affirmation that you're a big man or whatever, the same way you did, you know what I mean, the same way all boys do when they're 13, 14 years old. They're all trying to kind of jump a pecking order, you know what I mean, and that's no, the hunger's no there for that anymore.
Yeah.
The hunger's there to go out and box and actually do something that's, you know what I mean, that everybody will pat your back for, rather than, just your mates that will actually take somebody a square go and level them in the street or something, you know what I mean?
And the thing is with boxing gyms as well is that, like, you see these memes and all, but it's like you could be in a gym next to a lawyer, a police, a drug dealer, but in the gym everybody's like, they're just all there to benefit their own personal goals or whatever, but
Yeah.
you don't know the difference. You don't, like, in that gym, everybody, if you go in with a bad attitude, then people obviously get you back, but if everybody just goes in, they work hard, you're not going to know the difference between who's there and what their backgrounds are, and it kind of, as I said, it does strip everything back.
Absolutely, aye.
So you came back for Australia.
I came back for Australia, aye, and just, I mean, by that point, I think I came back and I was probably just, you know what I mean, probably 30, 31, 32, something, I don't know, somewhere about that. And even at that point, I thought, I'm way too old to be boxing. I went back and had a couple of amateur fights, and obviously, as we were talking about before that, the format changed, and
Yeah.
I hated it, you know what I mean? I hated it. Like, I was like, nah, that's me, I'm over the hill now, kinda. Because a lot of, I mean, there's no really anybody my age still boxing, I mean, very few and far between. Ben McGovern, I mean, he was a year younger than me, so it's good to see he's,
Yeah.
got his wee Celtic title and whatever. It's good to see him do well, but I mean, for that generation, you know what I mean, there's not very few years kind of left, you know what I mean? So, as I said, I had that imposter syndrome a bit with, when I did turn pro, but definitely I didn't have the self-belief. Looking back now, I do, I'm getting it big time, you know what I mean? But I didn't have the self-belief. That was always there with boxing. I think even when I was, say, I nearly turned pro when I was 22, like, I didn't have the self-belief, you know what I mean? And you need that. You really need to believe you can do this, you know what I mean? No just like bigging yourself up to get yourself into a fight. You genuinely have to believe it's no getting in the ring, it's getting in the ring and doing the job, you know what I mean? And I've got that now, you know what I mean? I've really found that, you know what I mean? Well, it started by just sparring with pros, and even then I felt like, should I really be in here? And then doing alright, doing not too bad, turning pro, having a few fights, get 50-50 fights, winning them, and now I'm flying, you know what I mean? I feel good, I feel like I can do something here, you know what I mean? That's exactly what's going to happen, you know what I mean? Got this fight against another good prospect. He's a decent boy. On paper, I mean, he's got a good winning record. He's got a stoppage to his name as well, but I don't, I don't think it really matters who it is. It's about me. It's about what I'm doing on the night. And as long as I box to my ability, I'm gonna give him a really hard night. And I think it comes down to a lot as well, the experience that I've got. When I was 13, 14, I was in sparring with Craig Docherty and Barry Hawthorne, professionals back then, you know what I mean? I've been aware of the camp, you know what I mean? And I know that's going to play in my favour, and I know that's something you can't buy, so obviously I know that's a big factor, you know what I mean, which I hope will go in my favour. And I train like fuck, you know what I mean? I don't fuck about. I'm not going to Destiny and I sit pretending to be a boxer during the week, you know what I mean? So
it's like, see, when you've got that comfortability, and then I see it even in the amateurs, man, it's like, there's people that are boxing is at their home from home.
Aye.
And as you said, you've travelled around, you've boxed, like going to another country and working and finding your feet, and that's difficult enough. But then walking into a gym where
Aye.
and being able to achieve that, you'll have an experience and a comfortability with boxing that maybe everybody's got their own stories, and I don't know the boy you're boxing,
Yep.
but you'll have something that suits you and that comfortability, and you can see it like walking out to the crowds, right, is another aspect there where you
Aye.
can just get your adrenaline and that, and sometimes people sort of pull away from it and they don't
Yep.
like all that publicity, but it's finding a way where you can have your comfortability and reach your goals, but at the same time you're entertaining people. And there's
Absolutely.
people that are going to come out and they're going to want to see you do well. For your first fight, turning pro, they came out and they want to get behind you and they want to see you do well. How did the pro conversation come about, and how did you approach Sam, or did you speak through Chris?
So
Or
I was training with Chris at the time. Paul was starting to train a couple of professionals, and what you ran about them, and I was just going in because we couldn't get access to gyms at the time. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So there's a couple of places I could get in the back door, and I was training whatever, and I was sparring, just with amateurs and stuff. And I started sparring with a couple of the boys that were professional with Paul, and he's like, you should have a go at it. But at that point, as I said, I'm like, okay, but I'm like, nah, I didn't have any belief, no self belief at all, really. Looking back, and
why do you think where did that come from?
I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. I think it's always been there in life. You know what I mean? I think it's coming with maturity, kind of. It's like I think it's always kind of been there. You know what I mean? When I look back and think about it, like you know what I mean. The problem, I don't really know. I honestly couldn't put my finger on it. You know what I mean? But I'm a lot more. Probably you're scared of losing, and you know what I mean, and scared of failure. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm kind of sure about myself now. I'm a bit older. You know what I mean? I've done what I want to do in life. I've travelled a bit. You know what I mean? And I've kind of met all different people, and I'm not scared of losing. I'm not scared. You know what I mean? I'm happy within myself. So I've not get that kind of fear of, oh, if I go out there and make a gun at myself kind of thing. You
yeah.
know what I mean? That's not rare kind of anymore. You know what I mean? So I just feel more comfortable with myself, and I've been proving to myself that I can mix it at these levels, and even turning professionals was daunting, was frightening to see my name in a poster. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Your stomach for some reason, you're like, Jesus, am I actually doing this? I still get that feeling when I go in under the lights. You know what I mean? And there's that sort of moment before your name's said, and then you're thinking, the fuck am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
why am I here? Like, you still get a bit of that. You know what I mean? But it's time's going on, and I'm getting the results, and I feel like I'm flying in the gym. You know what I mean? I'm like, hold on, actually, I deserve to be here.
Sometimes the best people that do well are people that don't kind of know how good they are.
Aye.
And like I know for Cash used to hate all the everything going up. He
Yeah.
just used to love boxing. He just
Aye,
used to
that's it.
walk in
Aye.
and want to walk back out and no
Aye,
have
just take
to.
it up and go.
Aye, and it's like I mean, obviously I come across people that will show off and people that will want to sell tickets, and that's
Yep.
still part of it as well, which is part of the fucking broke my phone, which is part of the reason why we even set up
Yep.
the channel. But people that just like to go in and box, you find they don't always maybe have time. They'll not look back at the reasons why they are the
Aye.
way they are. I like being at my comfort zone at times, but
Yep.
sometimes I'm just like, nah, fuck it. Like I remember the first Scottish boxing podcast we done. It took us about fucking 20 minutes just to turn the cameras on and start talking.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
why they did. I was just like, we just turn it on, and that's
Aye.
it. And I'll edit it how it's edited. But um, it's I think there's maybe something in you where you wanted to prove something
You're
to
probably
yourself,
right. You
and
know what I mean?
sometimes you just need to be like, right, fuck it.
That's
With
it.
the awards I had last year, bro, I've spoken about this here on the Tuesday. The awards was on the Friday. On the Tuesday, two sponsors were like, they kind of just bullshit us and was like, oh, and then was like, oh, never wanted to take the table. So I was like, I think I was about $3,000 down,
Yeah.
and I was like, I remember texting my mate. I was like, mate, I feel like just fucking killing myself,
Yeah.
and like, I genuinely like remember how fucking low I felt, and then I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I was like, see if I said, let's just do it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. My
That's it.
mates Arunas were kind of like the ones that sort of got me through it.
Yeah.
Do you have people you can talk to?
Aye, absolutely. You know what I mean? I've got a good friend circle. You know what I mean? I've got my partner Erin. Like she's been great. You know what I mean? She's been the strong woman behind it all. You know what I mean? That's pushing me driving me forward, you know.
Yeah.
My son came into the world 18 months ago, just about, and that was a big thing as well, you know what I mean? I was kind of thinking, like, do I want to be, oh, son, sitting with a beer in my hand saying, I nearly done this, I nearly done that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't go this a go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If I fail, I fail, you know what I mean? But I definitely didn't want to, as an itch, I had to scratch, you know what I mean? I know that now, like, you know, I had to take it kind of as far as all the way in the terms of turn professional, and I think it would always niggled in my head if I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm grateful to be here, you know what I mean? But I mean, I know that age is a playing factor, and I know that this game's, you know what I mean, it's a tough sport. So
Yeah.
you know, I'm grateful to be here, and I'm going to make the most of it. You know what I mean? That's definitely, that's, you know, the age things was a big playing factor when I turned professional, but now I feel like I'm flat. You know, it's kind of went out my head a bit. You know what I mean? I know that I'm not going to be in it forever, but if you know, if I can have a couple of good years and days, if I get, you know, win this Scottish, and then there's talking maybe something next in the line, you know what I mean?
Are you looking past this, or are you just looking at this and now? And
I'm looking at this now, you know, but when I turned professional, I went, I'm getting this I'm going full pelt here. I'm getting this a good go, good couple of years, good, and see where it takes me. And when the wheels fall off, I'll sit down and have a think, you know what I mean? But as long as this momentum's still running, and you know, I'm feeling good, and I'm feeling good mentally and physically, I'm going for it, and that's what's happening, and I really am building momentum, you know what I mean? I feel great, confident in myself.
Yeah.
Bars are going good, you know what I mean? I'm good feedback, left, right, and centre, you know what I mean? It's so now, as I said, that self-belief's sky high, you know what I mean? And I know that I've got a domestic title on me. I'm confident of winning this in 4 weeks' time, and then we'll move forward from there. But it's what, you know, once one foot in front of the other. I'm no daft enough. I've not got, you know a lot of boys do, you know what I mean? Like, but I've not got. I wouldn't say I think I've got a big ego. I know that, you know, it can all change overnight, and it all can change in a fight. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful to be in this position, but I'll make the most of it. You know.
Do you suss out opponents that you like to box, or?
Yeah, I've got my eyes on folk, you know what I mean? But like, it's one thing I found out about professional boxing is, like, it's no plain and simple, you know what I mean? Shit changes overnight. I mean, I'm a super lightweight and moving up to welter for this fight, you know what I mean? Like, it's probably no like it's no like if you ask me my ideal route, I wouldn't be doing it, you know what I mean? But again, I'm you know, time's precious, and a title's a title, and I want it, so you know, like, it's aye, that's kind of. I mean, you've got to take your opportunities in this game. It's certainly a funny old game. It's ruthless, you know what I mean, at times, you know what I mean? But here I am, you know what I mean? So I'm going to make the most of it whilst I'm here.
What's your family been like for your boxing career?
Good. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, you know, my man and my dad and that, they're all kind of like, they think I'm going to win this title, and that's me, I'm going to take a wee boxing look at, but that's not the case, and I've had to have that chat with them, you know what I mean? It's great for me, you know what I mean? It's great for me mentally, and it's bringing real structure to my life, you know what I mean? Ideally, when I've finished boxing, I want to go down the road, I never try to be a referee, or you know, some sort of job on the board. I want to be involved. I don't think I want to train boys. I'm not 100% sure, because sometimes being a trainer's like more time demanding than being a fighter. You know what I mean?
You've got the times you've got that boxer's life in your hands, especially with the new boxers.
Yeah.
But as I said, it's sometimes people that don't know or don't think that they want to do it end up being the best people for it. And I see that Chris McAdam has probably taught you a lot. He's just one of the veterans that just command that respect when he comes in a room, and people. I seen him at the weekend there with Andrew Meekin, was boxing, and I was gutted for Andrew, because I'd sort of thought, he's been on the podcast, that I've sort of followed his career, and he just wanted that belt so badly, man, so much, and I wanted him to win it. There's people commenting as well, going, "Oh, sometimes your favourites don't always win," and that. And I was just like, I try not to be biased, but sometimes, like, if you know something, you've met them, and you know how much they put in, and you just want it, you'd be rooting for them.
He's dedicated, Andy, you know, and it's I mean, see when things go your way, it's sometimes not always the best path. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You need hurdles that
you're
you need
right.
to overcome, and
Yeah,
so you value it when you've got it, and you know how hard you need to work for it. You know what I mean? It's I don't, you know, I can only see him. I think he's going to do really well, and I think he's got a good future in boxing, Andy. So Chris, a brilliant coach. Chris has he's taught me so much, and I mean, he's got a lot of the old school tricks. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like between him and Paul, I work with both of them. They're both. I take the best out of both of them. Paul's young, he's hungry, he's into the sort of the
It was Paul that came up to me at the Black show,
yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, do you want?" And I know this is like I'd rather people just come up and grab me and went, "Yo, I want to come on. I wanted like nobody's got to be doing you favours." I say this to people just because I would put out something, say, if somebody wants to come on and speak, and I'd come out to the gym last week. I went to gym at Taggart, done a wee promo for him because his mum asked me.
Yep.
Right, I would go there. I think I don't want to just see it as this just being my platform, but other people to use it for what could benefit them as well. And if there's if something's coming up, eventually I want to start doing. I've sort of explored this, like having face-offs with boxers.
Right,
Like if there's a fight coming up, and just start to generate interest, man. I think there's a lot goes on in Scottish boxing, and I don't think we fully take advantage of what we could achieve in it.
I agree. I think that a lot. I mean, I think like, you know, there would be no harm in many sort of pressers kind of things. You know what I mean? To build fights. You know what I mean? Because it's a show business after all. You know what I mean? And I don't know why I don't lean on that a wee bit more because. I mean, that's what clearly generates an interest in boxing to your armchair fans and your fans of the public fans back.
Sometimes people are too polite, teacher. It's just like they go on and they'll be like, right,
that's it.
Shake hands up. But you do sometimes need to create something. It doesn't always need to be like browsing up, but just like something that's a bit. If you sat, just say you had your opponent sitting here, and actually we have put a table in the middle, and you're sitting, and we're just bro, just create something that people I think would want to watch. I'd want to watch it. I don't need to be the one sitting there. If somebody thought they'd be better than me to facilitate it, or maybe I'll facilitate and they sit.
It, man. You give me a shout and it happens. You know what I mean? I'm happy to sit down and chat shite to my opponent. You know what I mean? And get in his ear. Definitely.
But Gage, it's something that I think is obviously they see it down south and all, and I think, but there was a wee boxer for Glasgow Boxing Academy, Aaron Brown, that he came up to me and I showed him there, and he's like, "Oh, see when I win my fight, I'm going to come here and do an interview with you." And I was like, "Aye, that's fine, just run it past your coaches first," because like I end up his parents were there, so I always try and make sure the parents can listen, because I ask something or they say something that they don't want them to say. But I'm like, why would you not just go up and say, "Mate, you're doing an interview with us, I want to speak." So it was Paul that came up and was like, had asked me if I'd speak to you, and I was like, "Aye," like there is always a story with somebody that you don't like. That the whole thing going to Australia, bro, that just blows my mind, man. Like, because it's you don't know these parts of people's lives. You don't know why they get into boxing. You don't know what it means to them. You don't know about their families that are waiting, or the people that are coming and watching. And these are the things that I want to talk about. I want to tell these stories and get people interested in just seeing that other side to people, other than maybe you just see winner on social media, or you don't see the fights, or you don't know the journey you go into that.
I think it'd only be a good thing. You see, like, you know, and I can't believe we've been talking about this, but you see, like, with the sort of the YouTube boxers and everything else, and the interest that it's promoting, you know what I mean? Which I will say is a kind of good thing, you know what I mean? Even if I don't really fully agree with it.
I'm the same.
The concept it is putting eyes on boxing, and you know. What you're saying there about kind of the face-offs and maybe just a wee bit more a kind of, you know, actually promoting that side of things, it's going to get Wayne's talking, it's going to get them having a bit of crack, and they love that shit, you know what I mean? So I can only see that really being a good thing, you know what I mean? Because it's, rather than, you go to a boxing gym and, you know, you go to you boxing the championships and blah and you get a repost on social media, that would get Wayne's going nuts, you know what I mean? Their mates on, like, you know, dissing and talking shit and kind of building a bit of a fight.
And you see, like, promoters will be like, "Oh, I need to get this guy on my show because of there was a wrestler in WWE or something, right, and they were going to sack him, and then this was when WWE wasn't really in social media, and they started, and then they found out he had like this YouTube channel that millions of people were following, and they kept him. They renewed his contract and had him on TV more because he was so popular in that social media world with young people. And it's like, I don't think. Like, see if you went to the gym, you probably like, boxers. There was some boxers that were using TikTok, like Jason McCormick and Shazman Pernaise were using TikTok, and they had thousands of followers, right? Millions of people liking their stuff. But people would then turn up at their shows and buy tickets. This is when they were amateurs.
Yeah.
I think we sometimes hold back. We were saying we don't always like putting ourselves out there.
Aye.
And bro, I'm kind of used to doing things now, but I still like think, I still don't always as I said, don't always want to sit and like I'll look at things back and I'll be like, what the fuck you talking about? Or I'll take ages to edit something, or I won't like something and I'll be like, nah, it's not gonna. But sometimes you just be like, fuck it, we're only got one chance in life. You keep pushing it and you will grow as you said, your success already.
It's a bit I kind of do struggle with, you know what I mean? Like even like I suppose you kind of know what I mean. Like some teams I'm not wanting to film a ram everything down people's throats in social media, you know. Like I kind of want to be a bit you deserve it, and you know you and also when it comes to like approaching sponsors and stuff like that, like I'm kind of you feel like you're begging a bit, know what I mean? I know you know you need to put yourself out there. It's the name of the game, know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, but there's part of me that's kind of got this thing, know what I mean? Where I'm just kind of. It seems like a good idea until I actually have to go out and do it, or it seems like a good idea, but I try to keep the sort of posting to a sort of, not minimal, know what I mean, but I don't fucking every time I run post a picture or video, I don't care what, you know, I'm not showing off to anybody, I don't care what I'm going and sync, or I know what I'm doing in the gym, so I look at it kind of that way, you know what I mean? I'll update people and post photos at spars so that I've got them there for.
Sometimes it's good not to have too much out. Like, way back when we started, kind of, some coaches didn't want us to film the bouts and didn't want, especially through tournaments, because people would go on and suss it out. But I end up being like, some things I would hold back before I posted, but I was like, listen, anybody with a camera phone can come out and post a fight.
Aye.
Is it weird that it's going to be there anyway? That you're going to be seeing these boys.
Know what I mean? It's like everything's, you know what I mean, everything's recorded, everything's video. To be honest, it's kind of one of these things, you know what I mean? I get it, you know what I mean? Back in the day and whatever, it was like spar, you know, you didn't post any videos of sparring, people did, even like fight videos were kind of kept on, tucked away and whatever, you know what I mean? But like in this day and age, you know what I mean, it's just, you've got no chance, you know what I mean? So it's probably better just everything's above board and you just, you know what I mean, you do what you need to do in yourself rather than, I suppose there's always that kind of thing, like you like to have that element of surprise. My last fight, the stream buggered up there when it was getting recorded, and part of me was thinking, nah, you know what, that's actually not too bad, you know what I mean? As much as I like to have seen it, you know what I mean, I was kind of thinking, I you know, it's a double-edged sword because, you know, whoever I'm fighting next can't go and have a wee nosy, you know what I mean? But not that it matters, as I said, you know what I mean?
I think when the younger boxers, they want their mates not to see that they're boxers and all this, and literally, like, we could film, when we used to film rather than stream, like the show would finish and then we'd have like people messaging the page, when's my fight got to be ready? And I was like, sometimes I remember I'd done 3 shows in a week. In fact, I think it was 4. I think it was Lockie, Rob Roy, Duries. I was 3, and there was like 60 fights or something with to edit.
Aye.
And I'm like, wee man, it's gotta be weeks before I get around to it. It's like people don't realise the amount of time how to edit. I think that's what I prefer streaming, because this shit just records it all.
That's it.
But at the same time, it's good to hold back and maybe not let your opponent know too much about you or what you're up to. As you said, we were talking about John Casey's fight. Where the opponent was just a completely different person. And that's somebody that you did see, and then you seen him again. And boxing, anything can happen. Like, you can come across, you maybe have a shit day. Like, look at even people at the top of their game. Like Anthony Joshua's had a lot of shit days, but he's Anthony Joshua. At the end of the day, he sells brands, like they'll jump on him. So but I think not having yourself out there too much is a good thing as well. But when you're in this game of trying to sell tickets and that, you've not had a problem with selling tickets.
No, I've no.
Is it murder like chasing people up, but you still have that? Because I used to do
definitely, it's a complete pain in the arse. You know, it's definitely the downside of things, especially when you're getting into fight week. You know what I mean? And I get it. You know what I mean? It's like you know, everybody's treating it as their individual thing, but when you've got like 60, 70, 80 individual, you know, people that are kind of, because I'm like that, you know what I mean? Sometimes I can, you know, get things done, you know, just my general stuff I need to get done. I run a business, sometimes I'm lacklustre in certain departments and whatever. I know what it's like when you're a busy person, But when you're like when you've got already folk, you know, you try to tie them down, you know, it's a pain in the arse, but it's part of the game. You know what I mean? It is part of the game. I understand that, you know, and understand it's also it's, you know, gets you, as you said, tap of the bill on shows and all the rest of it, and that's the kind of exposure you need. You know what I mean? So I understand it. It's not the prettiest part of the game, but it's part of the game, and it needs to be done. Right.
So what's the date with this? I had it here.
20th of May is the
20th of May.
Is the next one.
Aye, Scottish Welterweight. It's in Double Tree. You boxing Double Tree?
I've not, no. I can't even picture where it is, to be honest.
So Double Tree is just at the top. So I'm at the same street as Destiny was on. So imagine you walked out Destiny on the right.
Oh, the old
Thistle Hotel.
Right, right, okay, I know
that's
that
Double Tree. Aye. So
it's I pissed against it for several hundred times. Taxi back in the day, you know what I mean? So
I've not actually been in there for boxing events, but they used to have it. They used to have like the big events in there.
That's right. They did.
And then they've moved about and that. But I think it was Raspberries started doing these ring time shows in there, and then I know Sam's like probably.
Right, okay.
We said there's that many boxing shows. It's probably good to.
That's good.
Try
I'm
a
actually
few
glad
different
that is
clubs.
in there, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because I envisioned it was somewhere down near Central Station. Man, I couldn't picture the life of me, but no, that's actually good news. You know what I mean? A bit of nostalgia there. You know what I mean? I'm kinda. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's.
I don't know why some doesn't take it. It was Destiny was taking her, and became C nightclub for a bit, and then became a gym. And it was massive inside. I just think they just don't think they could fill it, but with dance music, you could.
Oh, definitely, but the town's fucked now.
I know.
I mean,
my shop was on Circular Street. I know.
It's not. I mean, I wouldn't like to be 20-year-old and you know what.
The whole dynamic's just changed, and like my shop was in Circular Street, and they've just ruined the whole street. And they're not even finished. They're going to start demolishing like Buchanan Galleries, rebuilding that, and it's just they want to turn it into like a tourist city and that, and have no motors and that going in. But you get people that live there, but people are travelling there for work. Just got to make it impossible to get them with motors and that.
I know it's like a lot of boozers shutting down as well. You know what I mean? Ones that have been there for a long time. You know what I mean? And whatever, and that's quite sad to see as well, because that's what kind of holds it down together. You know what I mean? In terms of stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it is sad to see that. And a lot of like independent shops, they're all gone. Not I mean, even up that neck of the woods up Circular Street off of there, it's derelict. You know what I mean? It's sad to see, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because you need the wee businesses. You know what I mean? To kind of hold the kind of fabric of sort of, you know what I mean, a city sort of centre. Kind of
and people are relying it, man. We were next to Savoy Centre, and there was a woman that I know she committed suicide during Christmas, and she's an old woman, and I don't think she had family here, but she relied on shopping and going out. And that's where she got her sort of friendships and that. She'd go into all the shops, everybody knew her. And it was just when I found that out, it was during COVID and that, she couldn't cope. And you're like, you forget how much these places like mean to people.
Absolutely.
Even the businesses as well in Savoy, there's people who've been there 30 years, and it's just been one thing after enough fires, and then like Beast for the East, and then the COVID, and it was constant, man. But listen, cheers for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I hope, like, I know I've got boxing events left, right and centre, man, like with amateurs. So I'm trying to, like, the good thing is Skynox now posting the videos and that, so you can watch back
that's it,
and see the fights. But soon, when you win the title, come back in.
Certainly, aye.
And bring it in with you.
I will, don't you worry, man. That's the plan, you know.
But man, I'm glad you came out. Like, we've been speaking for about 40 minutes, just there, 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
Right.
But I'm glad you came in, man. The story with Australia that's just, honestly, it's blowing my mind.
Glad you enjoyed it.
I like things like that, because that's when my life has just been like always, like when I worked in child protection, I used to walk into mosques. I remember we took funders in, and they were nervous about going in. They were like, do we shake everybody's hand? And I went, listen, you don't know. If they put a horn out, shake it. If you don't. I'm just that comfortable with it. But you only get that by getting out your comfort zones.
Absolutely.
And it's probably benefited your boxing. Like, as I said, you're comfortable in the ring. You can see that. The walking out to the ring and the music and all that is just part of the entertainment game. But I hope it goes well on the 20th for me.
Appreciated.
Cheers, my man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah.